Hello students. Students, from this session onwards, we are going to start with a new chapter. This is chapter number 3 and the name of this chapter is Kingdom Planting. So in the previous chapter, we studied about different aspects of classification, in which we also studied about this particular kingdom planting. Now, we know that there are different types of plant species which are found on planet Earth. And these plant species, they are sorted and they are classified into a separate kingdom which is known as kingdom planting. And this classification, it is based on certain similarities and certain differences which is seen amongst the species which is included in this particular kingdom. So let us start this chapter by studying the basic characteristics of kingdom planting. The first characteristic is that most of the plants which are included in this kingdom, they are eukaryotic and chlorophyll containing organisms. Now what do you mean by eukaryotic? Eukaryotic organisms means that the cells of these organisms, it has a well developed nucleus which is enclosed in a nuclear envelope. Other than that, it also has other membrane bound cell organelles. Okay, so the plants are eukaryotic and they are chlorophyll containing organisms. Now what do you mean by chlorophyll containing organisms? Chlorophyll basically is a photosynthetic pigment. It is a molecule that absorbs sunlight for the production of carbohydrate. So sunlight with carbon dioxide and water from the environment is used by these plants for the production of carbohydrate. Okay. The next characteristic is that the cell wall of these plants are cellulosic. So it has a cellulosic cell walls. It comprises of cellulose, and the plants have the ability to grow by cell division. So the plants will grow in height, the plants will grow in girth, and this growth is because of the cell division that takes place in the meristematic region of these plants. Now plants, they have both organ and the organ system, and as I already told you all that they obtain their energy from sun through the process of photosynthesis. So how do they obtain their energy? By the process of photosynthesis. What is the process of photosynthesis? In photosynthesis, what happens is the photosynthetic pigment chlorophyll, it will absorb sunlight. Other than that, the plant will absorb carbon dioxide from the environment, and the plant will also take up water from the environment, and using all these three raw materials, it will produce carbohydrate, and this carbohydrate will in turn obtain certain energy which is used up by the plant. So they obtain their energy from sun through photosynthesis. The plants, they reproduced both sexually and asexually. So if we speak about their mode of reproduction is in both ways. They can reproduce sexually or they can reproduce asexually. Other than this, the plants also develop a self-defense mechanism to protect themselves from being destroyed by certain animals, certain fungi or certain plants. Now, if you ask me the example of self-defense mechanism, the most common one and the most easiest one that comes to my mind are the thorns and the prickles and the spines which grows on certain plants. These thorns and prickles, they are nothing but modified structure of these plants which actually helps the plant to defend itself or to protect itself from the herbivores. Herbivores are the animals which feed on certain green plants. So what happens is, if these plants, they are having such defense mechanism, it actually helps them to protect themselves. How does it protect themselves? It protects themselves from the herbivore animals, so that the herbivore animals, they do not come and graze upon these plants. Okay, so it acts as a defense mechanism. The next characteristic is that the organisms from this kingdom Plantae, they are multicellular, they are eukaryotic, and they are autotrophic. So they have multiple cells. They are eukaryotic, that means it has a well developed nucleus and well developed other membrane bound organelles, and they are autotrophic. They are autotrophic means that they produce their own food and they obtain their own energy by the process of photosynthesis. They do not depend on any other organism for production of food or to obtain certain energy. The last characteristic is they lack motility. Okay, so they are not motile, they are sedentary at one place, they cannot move, they cannot do any kind of locomotion. So they lack motility. So these are certain basic characteristics on which the members of this particular kingdom plant are divided and they are differentiated. So one such difference in kingdom Plantae is that they are divided into two groups. Some of them are included in cryptogams and some of them are included in phanerogams. So let us study the basic difference between cryptogams and phanerogams. First, we'll take up cryptogams. Now the word cryptogam, it has come up from a Greek word kryptos, which means concealed, and gamos, which means marriage. So as this particular group, it shows hidden reproduction. Kryptos means concealed and gamos means marriage. That means it is a concealed marriage. The reproduction is hidden in this particular group of plants. Okay. Now, what actually happens over here is these plants, they are flowerless. That means their reproductive organ, it is hidden. It is not very prominent. It is not very evident. Though they reproduce, but their reproductive organ is hidden and their reproductive organ is not very prominent. So that is how it is known as hidden reproduction or a concealed marriage. Okay. So the next characteristic about cryptogams is that they are flowerless. And when we say they are flowerless, that means these plants, they will not produce any fruits. And when we say they do not produce fruits, of course they will be seedless. So they are flowerless and seedless plants. Okay. Now all the non-seed bearing plants are included in cryptogams. Now let us also see certain important features about cryptogams. The first one is they are the lower plant group. Okay. So all the lower plant group plant members are included in this particular group, and that is how they are called as lower plant group. They bear no flowers, they bear no fruits and no seeds. And though their reproduction is vegetative, asexual and sexual, they reproduce by all three means. They can reproduce vegetatively, they can reproduce sexually, and they can also reproduce asexually. When we speak about vegetative mode of reproduction, it takes place by cell division or by fragmentation. This we'll be studying in the further slides. We'll be studying the detailed explanation about this vegetative reproduction. How does this take place in the next slide? And asexual reproduction takes place by the means of spores. Okay, so asexual reproduction also is possible in these plants by the means of spores. This was about cryptogams. Next group is phanerogams. Phanerogams, they are seed bearing plants and they are known as the most advanced plant group. Now again, phanerogam, this word has come up from a Greek word phaneros, which means evident, and gamos, which means marriage. So when we say they are seed bearing plants, that means they produce fruits, and if they produce fruits, the fruits are being developed from the flowers. So over here, the flowers are very evident. The reproductive organ, it is very evident and it is very prominent, and that is how it has come up from a Greek word phaneros, which means evident, and gamos, which means marriage. Their reproductive organ is very evident. Other name for phanerogams is spermatophytes. Spermatophyte is again a name which has come up from a Greek word where sperma means seed and phytons means plants. So they are seed bearing plants, and that is how the name is being given as spermatophytes. Now further, phanerogams are being divided into angiosperms and gymnosperms, which we will be studying in the next slide, in the further slides. And now let us also study about certain important characteristic about phanerogams. The first one is the plant body of phanerogams, they are well differentiated. That means the plant body is properly divided into root, shoot, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Okay, so it has a well differentiated plant body. Second characteristic is that they are multicellular, they are eukaryotic and chlorophyll containing plants. Okay, so all three things that I just said, all three characteristics, multicellular, eukaryotic and chlorophyll containing plants. I have already given the explanation about these things in the previous slide. Then these are photoautotrophic and produce own food by photosynthesis. What do you mean by the word photoautotrophic? Autotrophic is producing their own food and obtaining their own energy. When the word photoautotrophic, when the word photo is added, it means they do so by sunlight as using their source of energy. Okay, so over here, sunlight is the source of energy. The chlorophyll from these green plants, they absorb this sunlight. Okay, and then by using CO2, carbon dioxide and water from the environment, they produce their own food, that is carbohydrate. They are flowering plants and they have a well developed conducting system. That means they have a good vascular system, that is xylem and the phloem tissues. So xylem, which is responsible for the transportation of water, and phloem, which is responsible for the transportation of food. Both these conducting system or both the vascular system is well developed in the phanerogams. Okay, so this is about the basics of or the basic characteristic of cryptogams and phanerogams. Next, what we'll do is we'll study about cryptogams in detail and then we'll move to phanerogams. Okay, so let us study about the salient features of major groups, major plant group under cryptogams. So cryptogams, it is divided into certain divisions. The first division is Thallophyta. Okay, so over here, Thallophyta, thallo means thallus and phyta means plants. So the plants which have a structure, a body structure that looks like a thallus are known as Thallophyta. And this particular division, it includes algae. Okay, so the members are mostly aquatic, and or if they are not aquatic, they are found in moist and wet places. Now, why are they aquatic and why are they found in moist and wet places? Because in moist places, there is a lot of availability of organic content which is required for this particular organisms for their growth. Okay, it acts as a nutrient for the growth of these organisms. So that is how the members of these Thallophyta division, they are mostly aquatic or they are found in moist and wet places. There is absence of true roots and there is no particular vascular system or vascular tissues like xylem and phloem over here. Okay, and they are autotrophic in nature. That means they have these photosynthetic pigments which allow them to produce their own food and to obtain their own energy. Now, few of these members of this particular division, they are growing on other plants. They have an ability to grow on other plants, and so they are known as epiphytes. What are epiphytes? Epiphytes is a group of organisms that grows on a particular host plant, but they do not benefit or they do not harm that particular host plant. They just use that host plant for their growth as a support system. They will neither harm that host plant or they will not benefit the host plant. Okay, so these are epiphytic algae. Some of them, they grow symbiotically. What do you mean by symbiotic relationship? Symbiotic relationship is a give and take relationship where the algae will benefit the growth, the host plant on which it is growing, and the host plant will also benefit the algae in some or the other way. So this is a symbiotic relationship. Or some of them, they grow in an epizoic condition. Epizoic condition is growing on a host or a living organism non-parasitically. Okay, it is just growing on an exterior of the living organism, but they are not being a parasite to that host organism. They are not obtaining any kind of benefits from that host organism. Now, when we say aquatic algae, they grow in marine or they grow in fresh water. Most of them, they are free living, while some of them, they are symbiotic. The plant body, it is a thalloid plant body, and that is how the name of the division is being given as Thallophyta. What do you mean by thalloid plant body? Thalloid plant body means that they are undifferentiated into root, stem and leaves. There is no such division like root, stem and leaf. It is just a thalloid plant body that is seen. Now, if we study the examples of Thallophyta, many of them are small unicellular microscopic like Chlorella, which is non-motile. So this is Chlorella, which is non-motile. Then there is Chlamydomonas, which is motile. So this is Chlamydomonas, which is motile. They can be multicellular, they can be unbranched, filamentous like Spirogyra. So these are unbranched, they are multicellular and they are filamentous. So Spirogyra, or they can be branched and filamentous like Chara. So this is Chara, which is branched and filamentous, and this is Spirogyra, which is unbranched and filamentous. Okay. Now, some of them, they are macroscopic. Sargassum. Sargassum is macroscopic algae, though it looks like a complete plant body. Okay, it looks like a leaf structure, the stem structure, the fruit structure, but they are algae. Okay, they are not the higher group of organisms or the higher group of plants. They are algae. So Sargassum, which is a huge macroscopic seaweed which measures about 60 meters in length, is also an algae. So it grows up to 60 meters in length, but it is considered to be an algae. Okay, so this was about division Thallophyta. Now, if we study further about this division, the algal cell wall. The cell wall of these algae, it contains either polysaccharides like cellulose or glucose. So the cell wall is cellulosic, or it is made up of glucose, or a variety of proteins, or both. So it can be either cellulose, glucose or protein, or it can be both cellulose, glucose and protein. The reserve food material is in the form of starch and its other forms. Okay, so this particular plant group, it actually reserves its food in the form of starch, so that when there is no availability of food, they can use up this food for their growth and development or for their survival. Now, if we speak about their mode of reproduction, it takes place vegetatively, asexually or sexually. The life cycle, it shows phenomenon of alteration of generation, where dominant haploid and reduced diploid phase is seen. And the algae, they are classified as per its pigments like chlorophyll, xanthophylls and phycobilin. Okay, so let us study about the classification of these algae on the basis of their pigment. The first one is Chlorophyceae. Chlorophyceae is the green algae. Now this green algae, they are mostly fresh water. Few of them are brackish or marine water, but most of them are seen in fresh water. The plant body is unicellular, it is colonial, filamentous. Okay, so the plant body is unicellular, colonial and filamentous, and the cell wall, it contains cellulose. Now speaking about the chloroplast, where the chlorophyll is present, they are often of various shapes. So as you can see, they are plate-like, they are discoid, they are reticulate, they are cup-shaped. So the cup shape, I can give you an example of cup shape. This cup-shaped structure that you see, which is not very clear as it is a microscopic picture, it is not a diagram. So this peripheral cup-shaped structure that you can see, this is nothing but the chloroplast in the Chlamydomonas. Okay, they are ribbon shaped, so ribbon shaped and spiral chloroplast is seen here in Spirogyra. Okay, so the chloroplast is of all these shapes, and it also contains chlorophyll A and the food stored in the form of starch. Now the pyrenoids are located in the chloroplast. Now the members are also rich in protein, so they are used as food. So many of the algae, they are used as food, and they are used as food in the space travel. So people who travel in space, the astronauts, they cannot take food, the normal food that we eat, they cannot take such food over there. But they need certain supplement, they need certain nutrients and minerals for their survival in the space. So what they do is they take such algae which are edible and which are a good source of proteins and other nutrients. They take such supplements for their survival and for their growth. So one such example is spirulina and also chlorella. These are the two which are highly rich in protein and it is used as a space food by the astronauts. Okay. Other than this, there is Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, Cara, Volvox, Eulothrix, etc., which are very rich in proteins. Okay, so this is about chlorophyce. The next one is Phaeophyce, that is the brown algae. So the plant body of Phaeophyce, they are mostly marine and they are rarely seen in fresh water. They are simple branched filamentous like Ectocarpus. This is Ectocarpus. They are simply branched and filamentous, or they are profusely branched like Petalonia. Okay, so Petalonia is profusely branched. The cell wall is again made up of cellulose, fucins and algins. The photosynthetic pigments which are present are chlorophyll A, that is chlorophyll C, and fucoxanthin which is present. Fucoxanthin is the chlorophyll pigment that is responsible for this brown coloration in the algae. Okay. Other than this, mannitol, laminarin and the starch are the food materials which are seen. Okay. So many species of the marine algae are again used as food. The first one is laminaria. This is laminaria. This is sargassum. These are the two which are used as food, which are highly rich in certain nutrients, and it is mostly eaten by Japanese people. Okay, so in Japan it is very famous. The soups made up of sargassum or laminaria, or they use this certainly in salads and everything as a source of food. So laminaria and sargassum, they are used as food. Some species are used for the production of hydrocolloids. Now what are hydrocolloids? Hydrocolloids are, a dressing material. Like if you are wounded, or if you are, there is a cut on your body, the doctors, they give you this dressing using cotton and using other, equipments. So hydrocolloid is also a type of dressing, and this dressing, it provides a moist and insulating healing environment for your wound. Okay, and it also allows the body's enzyme to do the natural healing, to help in natural healing. Okay, so this is a type of dressing material that is used. It is a gel formed dressing material which is made up of ectocarpus and fucus. So this is fucus and this is ectocarpus, which is used for the preparation of this hydrocolloid. Now the next one is Rhodophyce. Rhodophyce is red algae. And the plant body, they are usually found in marine as well as fresh water on the surface. It is also seen in deep seas and brackish water. The plant body is thalloid over here. The cells contain chlorophyll A. There is D and phycoerythrin. So phycoerythrin is the pigment that is responsible for this red coloration which is seen in Rhodophyce algae. The cell wall over here also is made up of cellulose. With cellulose, it is made up of pectin glued with other carbohydrates. Stored food is in the form of fluoridin starch. Okay, so there is also stored food over here which is in the form of starch. Commercially important agar-agar. Now you must be, very familiar with this agar-agar gel which is used in food production. It is used in biotechnology and other fields. This agar-agar, it is used as a solidifying agent. Okay, in tissue culture technique, if you just Google it about agar-agar, you will get to know what is it. So it is used as a solidifying agent in tissue culture medium to obtain from, this is obtained from this red algae. The agar-agar is obtained from the red algae. The examples of Rhodophyce members or the red algae are Chondrus, this is Chondrus, Batrachospermum, then there is Porphyra, there is Gelidium, there is Gracilaria, and then there is Polysiphonia. These are the examples of red algae. Okay, so students, with this we finish studying the division Thallophyta, and I think this is enough for today. And in the next lecture, we'll be moving to the next division of kingdom Plantae or cryptogams, that is Bryophyta, and we'll move forward with this chapter.